The lawyer's warning was specific. Don't stay after dark. Elias ignored it, stepping into the rotting grandeur of his newfound inheritance. The Blackwood estate had been in his family for generations, a silent witness to a history he was only beginning to uncover. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of old paper and damp wood. Every step he took echoed through the hollow, shadow-drenched halls. He explored the rooms, his flashlight cutting through years of neglect. The house felt less like a building and more like a waiting lung. Night fell quickly. The rain turned into a rhythmic lashing against the windows, a sound that should have been comforting, but felt like a countdown. Elias drifted into a fitful sleep, unaware that the house was stirring. At exactly 3 a.m., the world stopped moving. Throughout the halls, the ticking of dozens of grandfather clocks ceased simultaneously. The silence was louder than any sound he had ever heard. He woke to the sound of footsteps, heavy, deliberate creaks on the floorboards directly above his head, pacing a path to nowhere. Morning brought a strange sight. The living room furniture, which he had left in disarray, was now arranged in a perfect, chilling circle. Desperate for answers, Elias installed high-tech security cameras. He needed to know what was happening while his eyes were closed. The night footage was a descent into madness. A grainy, shadowy figure stood at the foot of his bed for hours, never moving, never blinking. In the attic, he found old family photos. In every single one, a pale, blank-faced child stood in the background, watching the family across decades. The basement door creaked open, inviting him down. The air there was frozen, and the walls were covered in photos of the same mysterious man. The man in the photos wore a 1942nd suit, standing behind Elias's ancestors in every era. He was a shadow that refused to fade. Elias found his grandfather's journal buried beneath the floorboards. The last entry was a frantic scrawl. Never let him know that you can see him. But it was too late. The house began to warp. Hallways that were once 10 feet long now stretched into an infinite, dark perspective. He ran to the bathroom to splash cold water on his face, but the mirror offered no comfort. His reflection moved with a sickening 3-second delay. Then, he saw it. At the end of the stretching hallway stood the figure, the mysterious man in the vintage suit, finally stepping into the light. Elias confronted the figure, his fear turning into a desperate rage. The man turned around, and Elias felt his heart stop. The face beneath the shadow was his own, an identical, unblinking version of himself, wearing the clothes of a dead man from another time. Panic took hold. Elias bolted for the front door, his lungs burning. He threw the door open, expecting the rainy street, but found only the living room. He tried the back door, the windows, the cellar. Each exit led him back to the center of the house at 3 a.m. The rain never stopped. The sun never rose. The house had claimed him, locking him into a loop of perpetual midnight. Years later, the modern police finally broke through the front door. They found the house empty, layered in a century of dust. On the floor of the living room lay a single, high-definition photograph. It shouldn't have been there. It looked brand new. In the image, Elias stands frozen in terror, his eyes wide with a plea for help, and right behind him, the mysterious man rests a hand on his shoulder. The officers left, sealing the house once more. Nobody has entered the Blackwood estate since that night. The loop remains unbroken. Some say if you stand near the walls at 3 a.m., you can still hear the ticking of 1,000 clocks that have nowhere to go.